Hey, what's going on, guys? New knife to review. In fact, another fixed blade to review. I've been working on using fixed blades for about 7 or 8 months now, more extensively than ever because there's a huge interest. A lot more people going out into the woods, doing wilderness survival type stuff, watching these shows on TV, and a lot of people start using knives. You know, some big, robust, heavy-duty knives. And that's what kind of got me into using fixed blades more to review for you guys. And this is one of the first ones that I got when I started getting into that mindset of more fixed blades. And I've had this for probably 7 or 8 months now. This is the Schrade SCHF13. And I also had the SCHF14. I do prefer this one. The only difference between the two models is the fact that the F14 has a textured G10 handle. And I'm not sure if I showed that on film yet or in another video, but I definitely preferred the smooth scales on the 13 as opposed to the 14. That contouring, it looked fantastic. I did not like it. It created a lot of hot spots for me in using it very hard, very uncomfortable. All right, it looks a lot better. You'd be very tempted to get that one because of the looks, but if you're really using your knives hard, I would recommend the SCHF13 over the 14, simply for comfort purposes. But anyway, this does come in a bunch of different flavors, if you will. You have this style of knife. If you don't like the drop point on this, there also is a Tanto version. And like I said, again, you have the plain scales, or you can do a model that has the sculpted cutout G10. All right. So anyway, some specs on this knife. We have a 8CR13 MOV blade. It's hollow ground, a little bit of a swedge on there. Came razor sharp. Happy with the performance on this. I think all of Schrade's new stuff has been phenomenal. Really just awesome. Everything out of the box has been really good. Really stepping it up with a lot of their stuff. 4.8 inches on the handle, which is a G10. It is full tang, as you can see. And we have two G10 scales on here, all right, attached by 2 screws. We have a decorative screw head on these, kind of a star pattern. It is Torx. You can take this knife apart if you choose to, say, paracord wrap it. And I took a picture for you so you can see what's underneath these scales. So let's check that out right now. So there you go. In case you're one of those people who like to take the scales off and wrap all your knives, that's what you're working with. The weight on this is 7.4 ounces. I did find it to be a little bit on the heavier side. I don't want to say heavy, but you do definitely feel a fatigue in comparison with other knives of its length. All right, so something to note. But not terribly bad. As far as carrying it, 7.4 ounces is nothing. I just recently carried the K-Bar BK2 for a couple weeks, and a pound knife is completely different than 7.4 ounces. So not super heavy, but certainly not super light either. Performs very well. The 8CR13 MOV, it's on the soft side. Did have to sharpen this quite a bit with heavy use. Comes with the territory. The price on these knives are between like 30 and 40 bucks. Definitely on the lower $30 end, so like 32, 33, in that range. You're talking like Amazon, eBay, some of the major knife dealers that are online that we all use. So for like, let's say a $32 knife, it's expected. You're not going to get the very best deal. So you will have to sharpen this if you plan on using a lot. For most people, not a problem. For other people, I know some people focus on getting really high-end blade steels because of the fact that they just can't learn to sharpen. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that's their preference. They like a knife that will last a really long time before they have to give it to someone to sharpen for them. If you're that person that can't sharpen your knives, but you do use them often, probably not the one for you. For everyone else, it's a fantastic knife for the $32 range and in and around. The sheath on here is not Kydex. It's a thermoplastic, all right? So it's like a Kydex style sheath. It is a fold-over design. I can say there's a lot of wasted material here. It was a little bulky, and you can see also I took off the mounting clip, let's call it. It's an enclosed clip. All right, so the negative to this is that if you want to take the knife, in sheath on and off your belt, you can't just slide it on. You have to undo the belt. A lot of people don't like that. This could be a simple fix in the design of this clip. But it's also preference. If you don't mind taking your belt off, whatever, it's not good to fall off. It's solid. So that's total preference. Some people prefer it to have more stability with a little more inconvenience involved, as opposed to being very convenient and maybe not quite as sturdy. But it doesn't matter that much. I did end up taking off. I just didn't like. I played with it, you know, different ways to mount it. Overall, it stuck out too much, and there's too much material in this sheath for me to have comfortably carried it. So I ended up taking this off. I carried this with a lanyard inside my waistband at some point, and for the majority of the time I literally just had the whole thing in my front pocket when I was doing camping. I went camping, cold weather camping with Christina, and this is my predominant knife that I use it for you know, craning some tinder. I made a couple fire sticks or tinder sticks, you know, feather sticks. I couldn't think of the word. Excel very well at that, but again, you know, after probably 15 minutes of use on it, did need a touch-up right away. All right, so the softer steel will be a hindrance to, like, let's say, hardcore camping tasks. You know, if you're really out there using a knife a lot, you better have a stone with you or some kind of sharpening method. But anyway, yeah, the sheath, I mean, the sheath functions fantastic, and you have a lot of material on top here for the thumb to push off. All right, very easy to get in and out, but the retention is very solid, a nice audible snap. You could feel it. It doesn't want to shake out very easily, so extremely secure. I just would like to see with a fold over sheath, it's very common to put the spine of the blade right up against the fold. Okay, so in essence, let's put this up here where it would normally be. Our sheath, get a better grip on this so I can show you. Just like that. Our sheath would be probably like this, all right? And we'd save a lot of material here. Just so that it's literally a smaller package. You want it to be, the smaller the sheath is, the better, because you have more options of where to put it. It's not cumbersome, you're not bumping into it. Weight's really not an issue here because it weighs nothing. But you know, it's a price point thing. On a more expensive knife, this, you know, attention to detail would have been performed. But with a cheaper knife, it's just easier just to, hey, fold it over in the middle, pop a couple rivets. But, you know, it is where it is, and that's where price comes in. More expensive knives have some of these details, whereas the cheaper ones don't. So I would like to see the sheath a little bit smaller, but it does function perfectly. I just didn't prefer this type of mounting system, okay? Tech lock does fit on these two holes right here, and that's what I use temporarily, but still stuck out a little bit too much for my liking. I did prefer putting a piece of 550 through both of these front eyelets and then looping it through my belt loop. It's actually really cool. It's awesome. It's super easy to do, and if you do the right length, you can tuck this into the belt pretty much anywhere on your dominant side, and then as you draw, you know, it draws it out of the sheath as well for you. Okay, hard to get back in. You have to use two hands. But as far as like a quick draw, especially in a camping type situation, who knows, some kind of animal is by you, maybe you're not by your gun, or you don't carry a gun, whatever the situation is, you can have quick access to your knife in an emergency, which I did like. So the Schrade SCHF13, I'm gonna say it's a good knife for a cheap knife, but the one thing that turned me off to this knife the most is the ergonomics. You have a nice finger control here, okay? And you have a little jimpy on the back, which is not super, it's not intense or anything. It's there, you feel it. It slows you down a little bit, but it's not sharp or anything. The finger control is nice. The handle contour looks nice. The G10 is actually really nice. I like the feel of it. But there's a hot spot because of the fact that the scales are slightly smaller than the stock. The stock sticks up all the way around. Now, this looks to be on purpose. It's not an accident. It's not like, ah, crap, they have the wrong scale. No. It's on purpose for aesthetics. I like the way that looks. I don't like the way it feels. Okay, you do feel the whole spine of the knife, okay? When you're using this very hard, you feel it dig into your hand, particularly down here towards the butt end. If you have a sand, you know, pretty much any kind of bench grinder or sanding machine, because it's a cheap knife, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world to take this on, you know, grinder or something, and literally just take the stock down to where the actual scales are, okay, for comfort. $32 knife in and around, I do that. I wouldn't do it with a $300 knife, you know? Of course, you will lose the jimping in the bottom here and, of course, on the top. but not that big of a deal. By the way, in reverse grip, it is very comfortable. Very, very comfortable. Much more comfortable stabbing than actually using. It's unfortunate because usually it's the reverse. You want to use your knife a lot more than you're going to be stabbing things with it. But anyway, of course, any $32 knife is going to have its critiques and good things and bad things, but overall, it's a cool looking knife and certainly functional for the price. Best knife for $32? No. Worst knife for $32? Absolutely not either. So it's just, you know, it's floating in the middle there. There's a lot of cool knives out there for this price range. Certainly cool for a collection, certainly cool for light duty use. Wouldn't recommend it for really hard use, especially any kind of camping or outdoor situations. But anyway, that's it on this one. So thanks for watching, guys. I really appreciate your time, as always, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. I'll see you soon. Take care.